all of my favorite comedies have always had darkness attached to them and been infused with a sense of drama. I think that's really, the closest to the human experience is this mixture of light and dark. And so I've always been interested in that. I don't think I've ever been able to make something that was just a straight comedy. I certainly couldn't do something that's a straight drama. I just find the idea of that either scary, but also I want to enjoy going to work. And I don't want to go to work and be sad all day and pretend to be sad all day and then take that home and then actually be sad. Yeah, I think
that's how I approach my job as well.
Everyone's, every day, is a mixture of ups and downs. And I think, when I want to tell a story, it has to be a mix of that. And also with comedy, especially, I think it's one of the most important things that we have in terms of delivering messages. And I think it's a great way of pulling audiences in, getting them to let their guards down and be part of the conversation, and then you can get into something deeper.
Mm-hmm. Well, we hear a lot of these days about taboo subjects, cancel culture, topics that are too hot to touch. You're someone who literally made a comedy about the Holocaust. Is that something you think about when you're doing a project? Will this get me canceled?
A lifelong dream, ever since I was a kid. I was like, Mum, you know what I'm going to do? No, that's not something, that in particular was, I felt like was a story that it meant something to me. A lot of my stories are about young people seeing the adult world through the lens of a child, and I thought in terms of Holocaust stories, they need to keep being told, but we need different ways and different approaches to them. You have the very heavy films that we've seen before, which are brilliant, and they delivered a message in a certain way, but if we keep doing them the exact same way, and that's the same with all art, if we never change or pivot or try a new direction, then the story gets old, and that's when I think when people say, yeah, we've heard it before, we know, and then we start forgetting. So when a few years before I made Jojo Rabbit, there was a Guardian survey, and it was, I'm going to get the numbers wrong, but basically in America, it was basically young people under 20, it was something like 68-70% of people had never heard of Auschwitz and had never heard of the Holocaust. And if those numbers keep going up with young people and we're not communicating or retelling these stories, and this is less than 100 years ago, then obviously people are like, well, I'll never forget, it'll never happen again. It'll happen again. And so that's the curse of humans, I think, is that we are doomed to repeat our mistakes because, we get in this comfort zone and we never think that we'll do it again. And that's why we have to tell comedies about this subject. We have to get people, we have to adjust the narrative to suit the audiences and the changing audiences.